I had 3 guys quit on me last harvest. 3. Right in the middle of combining. And I know I'm not the only one this happened to, because I talked to 6 other operators at the co-op that same week, and every single one of them had the same story. Can't find people, can't keep people, and the ones you do find want wages that didn't exist 5 years ago. So today I'm going to show you 5 machines that are solving that problem permanently, and I'm going to show you exactly what the ROI looks like on each one. Alright, so let's be real about where we are in 2026. Farm labor costs are up over 30% compared to just 4 years ago. Finding reliable seasonal help has become one of the single biggest operational headaches on American farms. And it's not getting better. The guys who figured this out early started replacing that labor with iron. Smart iron. Machines that don't call in sick, don't need a place to sleep, don't collect overtime, and don't quit on you at the worst possible moment. These aren't concept machines. These aren't things you'll see at a farm show in 2030. These are running on real farms right now, and the financial case behind each one is stronger than most people realize. Let's get into it, starting at number 5 and working up to the one that I think changes everything. So, the first machine I want to talk about is the Raven Solix autonomous sprayer system. And if you haven't looked at this one yet, pay attention here because the numbers on this thing are genuinely hard to argue with. What Raven built with the Solix is a system that lets one person supervise multiple machines running simultaneously across your fields. You're not putting a second driver in a second cab. You're not hiring a custom applicator at $10 to $14 an acre. One operator, multiple machines, same coverage, way less labor cost. Think about what custom spray is costing you right now. If you're farming 2,000 acres and doing 2 or 3 applications a season, you're writing checks somewhere between $40,000 and $85,000 a year just for that. That's before you even look at the input cost savings from better application accuracy and reduced chemical overlap. Guys running this system are covering the same ground with one supervised operator that used to take 2 or 3 people. That's real labor savings, not on paper, in your actual operating budget, every single season. Next up, and this one is changing the math on corn production across the Corn Belt in a big way, is the John Deere ExactShot system integrated into their autonomous planting platforms. Here's what it does. Instead of blanketing starter fertilizer across the whole row, it places fertilizer directly on each individual seed at the exact moment of planting. Seed by seed, not broadcast, not banded, individual placement. John Deere's own field data shows up to 60% reduction in starter fertilizer use with no yield penalty. None. Same yields, way less product in the ground. Now run that math on your operation. If you're farming 3,000 acres of corn and spending $45 per acre on starter, that's $135,000 a year in starter fertilizer. A 60% reduction saves you over $80,000 every year, just on that one input. And then stack the autonomous planting capability on top of that, consistent population, automatic downforce adjustment, minimal operator input. And you're also cutting the cost of that second or third employee you're scrambling to find during the 2-week planting window when everything has to happen at once. That window is where most farms bleed labor dollars the hardest. This system cuts right into it. Now, number 3 is going to surprise some of you. Because it's electric, and I get it. I was skeptical too, but stay with me on this one. The Monarch MKV electric autonomous tractor is built specifically for specialty crop operations. Vineyards, orchards, vegetable farms, places where you've got tight rows, repetitive passes, and the highest labor intensity of any farming operation in this country. This thing runs completely driverless for mowing between rows, spraying, light cultivation. Cameras everywhere. Stops if something's in the way. Logs every pass. You can check it from your phone while you're doing something else entirely. Here's the reality for specialty crop guys. A full-time seasonal tractor operator in California or the Pacific Northwest is costing you $18 to $25 an hour. And that's before you factor in housing, benefits, and everything else that goes with it. You're looking at $40,000 to $50,000 per person per year just to put somebody in that cab doing repetitive passes. The Monarch handles those passes by itself. Purchase price sits around $70,000 to $75,000. Run it through Section 1 to 79, and your first year after tax cost drops hard. Most specialty crop operators running this machine are seeing full payback inside 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years, then it's just savings after that. And right here, if Farm Gear Pro is giving you what you need, hit subscribe right now, share this video with a farmer in your area who's got equipment sitting idle and a labor problem he can't solve, and drop a comment below telling us which machine on this list you think fits your operation best. We read every single comment. Now, let's finish this list. Number 2. And honestly, this one could have been number 1 based purely on what it saves on inputs alone, is the Blue River Technology See & Spray Ultimate. Here's what this machine does. It uses cameras and real-time machine learning to look at every single plant as the sprayer moves across the field. It identifies your crop, it identifies the weeds, and it only sprays the weeds, not the whole field, just the weeds. I know that sounds almost too good to be true, but John Deere's field data across multiple seasons shows up to 77% reduction in herbicide use in certain applications. 77%. Let that land for a second. If you're farming 5,000 acres of soybeans and spending $28 an acre on post-emerge herbicide, that's $140,000 a year in chemical cost. A 77% reduction saves you over $100,000 per year on herbicide alone. Before you count reduced water usage, fewer passes, less compaction, less operator time. The machine runs at full field speed. No slowdown, no compromise on how much ground you cover. And the operating expense difference between running this versus a conventional sprayer setup on a large grain operation is one of the clearest financial cases I've ever seen for a piece of equipment. And number 1, the machine that changed the whole conversation, the John Deere 8R autonomous tractor. When Deere put this thing on stage at CES a couple of years back, a farm tractor at a consumer electronics show, I remember watching it and thinking, this is real, this is actually happening, and it is. This is a production machine running on working farms across the United States right now. 6 pairs of stereo cameras covering 360 degrees around the machine. It sees obstacles and stops. It calculates its own path. It monitors tillage depth automatically. And one person can supervise 2 or 3 of these machines simultaneously from a tablet. Sitting in their truck, sitting at home, wherever they are. Here's the labor math. A full-time tractor operator running tillage on a 3,000-acre grain farm is costing that operation $45,000 to $65,000 a year in wages and associated costs. The 8R handles those passes without a driver in the cab. One farm manager supervising 2 machines just replaced 2 full-time seasonal positions. That's annual labor cost reduction of $90,000 to $130,000, depending on your market and your wage rates, on one decision. Purchase price on a fully equipped 8R autonomous package is significant. We're talking in the $500,000 range. That's real money, and I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But run it through Section 179 and bonus depreciation, and your first-year tax treatment on that purchase changes the picture dramatically. And when you're stacking $100,000 plus in annual labor savings against the after-tax cost of the machine, most large operations are looking at a payback window of 4 to 6 years. After that payback window closes, every single year that machine runs is pure savings dropping straight to your bottom line. That's why it's number 1. Not just because of what the technology can do, but because the financial case for it on a large US grain operation is stronger than anything else on this list. The bottom line. Labor is the fastest growing cost on American farms right now. And it's not a problem that's going away on its own. The farmers who are winning in 2026 are the ones who stopped waiting for the labor market to fix itself and started replacing that cost with machines that work around the clock, don't quit, and pay for themselves inside 5 years. The Raven Solix, the John Deere ExactShot, the Monarch MKV, the See & Spray Ultimate, and the John Deere 8R. These aren't toys. These aren't novelties. These are working financial decisions that the biggest operations in this country are already making. If you haven't sat down with your equipment dealer and your ag CPA to run the numbers on even one of these machines, that conversation is overdue. The farmers who do it now are going to have a cost structure advantage over everyone who waits. And in this margin environment, that advantage matters more than ever. Thanks for watching Farm Gear Pro. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with a fellow farmer and comment below your thoughts on this topic. See you in the next one.